Ever since I was young, I used to draw airplanes a lot, and
Oh,
I always found I always was drawn to aviation, and
oh,
so I used to draw
cool.
birds and airplanes just when I was a
Mhm.
kid. And it wasn't until when I was in high school I took the magnet art program, governor school for the arts in
Oh,
Norfolk,
cool. That, yeah.
which was a really great program. So it was half of the day of regular school, and then the other half of the day I would get on a bus and go to Norfolk and just make art. And
Cool.
a lot of the teachers, every teacher that we had, they really encouraged pursuing something in art and experimenting with art and just trying. I think really it was all about just trying as much as you can. And it kind of leads to the last question, but it's really trying as much as
Mhm.
you can and experimenting. And I think just in like in high school, it was really about just sorry, I'm totally blanking, but
No, it's okay.
um yeah, I mean it like a lot of classes we would take would be welding, we would take painting, we
Oh,
would even
cool.
some of the classes we would kind of learn about art critique. So it was all across the board, everything about art, from even glass blowing to crocheting and stuff.
Wow.
So it just that really helped kind of, I guess, propelled the
Mhm.
individual or the students to really get inspired about art and really think about what they wanted to experiment with and
Mhm.
kind of what they wanted to just do in general. And a lot of the classes were kind of geared towards college, so
Mhm.
there were a lot of focus toward there was a lot of focus towards talking about your art, presenting it, documenting it,
Mhm.
setting up resumes, so all pretty much all of that.
Oh,
But yeah, I
cool.
mean
Yeah.
that totally helped get kind of gear me towards a career in art. And in college, it was kind of
Mhm.
like governor school again at VCU. So a lot of the classes were welding and metalworking, and that's what I really liked.
Oh,
And so
cool. Yeah.
when I was doing those classes, it was really like learning the history about these subjects and learning about different techniques with the subjects and stuff. So it was really inspiring, and I think
Mhm.
that's what really kind of carried my interest in art as a career. And I also really loved a lot of anatomy. I've always been fascinated with that. And so
Cool.
kind of when I was finishing up college, I was also kind of interested in creating like an anatomical, kind of like a side hustle or a business that related to doctors and a lot of the medical field. So
Oh,
hopefully
cool.
that kind of
Yeah.
answered that question.
I remember I saw one of your pieces at like the Children's Hospital or something like that. It was like
Mhm.
a painting of like the I think it was like the bone structure of a foot.
Yeah, there were
Yeah.
some podiatry pieces, some ENT
Mhm.
pieces as well. Yeah, and the way that I kind of got linked up with the Children's Hospital, MCV there's a whole art section, and so the guy that I used to work with, his name is Muzi. I didn't really work particularly under him, but I I would just visit him and we would talk about art, and I think really meeting people that are in the art field
Mhm.
really helped kind of propel a career in art.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah.
That's neat how much like the
hmm
connections matter.
Oh yeah, yeah. And as you kind of as you're going along in life, you'll meet all these great artists and stuff, and it's really exciting. One of my mentors was a teacher named Danny Tarrant, and he unfortunately recently passed last year. He was a metalworking instructor, and he really inspired me to work in metals and do welding. But just in general, I like historically speaking as well. I love artists from the
Mhm.
past, like Van Gogh or Leonardo da Vinci or Raphael, or even pre-Columbian artists. So my interest in art and people that influenced me span all throughout history. So that's kind of where that comes from. But there were a lot of also just in general, a lot of teachers that I had in VCU
Mm.
and governor's school that really helped influence me as an artist.
Yeah, I'm sure with like the variety you had with the
Yeah,
governor
yeah,
school.
and even a lot of the other students working with them on projects. And it's not just the teachers, but kind of concocting ideas with other younger artists too.
Mhm.
It's really helped.
What was your like specific major at VCU in the arts program?
I studied sculpture, and
Cool.
that the program was really good. A lot of it was pretty much experimentation with all sorts of materials, sometimes wood, sometimes plaster, metal, paper, you name it, anything. In the sculpture program at VCU, a lot of the professors, they're artists themselves, obviously, and some of them lived. One of the teachers that I had, or professors that I had, Michael Jones McKean, he lived and I think he still does, but he lives in New York, and he would travel to Virginia to teach the classes and
Oh
stuff.
wow.
I loved him. He's a really great teacher. And just a lot of the professors very down to earth. And I'm sure
Mm.
in college where you're going is very a lot of cool down to earth teachers
Yeah.
too, professors. Hmm. Yeah, well, it's not glass, so that's why I liked metal. Always good. But doing the metal pieces, it came about when I was younger. I loved going to museums, and when I was younger, my mom actually took me, I think I was like 8 or 9, she took me to a museum and they had an armor exhibit years ago, and they had samurai armor and there was
Oh,
medieval armor. But I also really loved Iron Man comics.
mm,
So it was kind of the blending,
cool.
kind of more modern styles from like Iron Man and then mixing with kind of medieval or Renaissance or samurai styles. So there's like a blending that was going on. And I also loved a lot of Leonardo da Vinci inventions. So I would do sketches that were influenced by Leonardo da Vinci, and then it kind of played upon into the sculpture realm, which I liked a lot.
That's cool. Yeah, I noticed some of that
Mhm.
blend with
Yeah.
like the medieval type with like the medieval style of
Hmm.
like armor with like some I can't remember. Was it like paint? Let me look it up. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah. One of them, one of the suits of armor was it was street signs.
Yeah, yeah, street
Yeah,
signs.
and don't ask me how I got them, but it was like a 3 year long project, and I was just working on the suit of armor more so on the side, and some classes I'd bring in like a helmet that I would make, and it had a lot of urban references with the
Mm,
street signs, but also kind of touching upon Renaissance style art armor as well. And there was other pieces and elements that I made that were influenced by like medieval or even kind of gladiator
mm.
styles too.
Cool. That's like a really cool like meeting point of like past and
Hmm.
future. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like I said, it's just a lot of experimentation. I was taking a class, it was a mixed media sculpture class in governor's school, and it was, I think, my sophomore year, and the class was it was about tape. And so
Oh,
the teacher brought her name was Virginia Van Horn, and she's a glass blower in Norfolk. Well, not really glass blower, but she's a sculptor in Norfolk. But she brought in all these rolls of tape, and we were putting the tape on walls and floors and
wow.
doing cool cutouts and designs. And I really liked the material. I thought it was very different from just
Mm,
a drawing. And I think I was really drawn to the material because of how, what's the word? Malleable it is, how much you can push the material without
mm.
even knowing that it's tape. That's what I really liked about
Yeah.
it. And I liked the black tape because it adds a strong contrast to if
Mhm.
you add color to a painting or a certain work of art as well. But just in general, I mean, I really like the idea of experimenting with contemporary materials like tape or fabric or other, and eventually I want to merge more fabrics into the works as well. But
Oh,
just
cool.
tape is really cool. I just thought
Mm,
it's easy to work with, it's inexpensive, and there's a lot
mm.
you can do with the material to push it to its limits.
That's so cool. That's like,
Mhm.
I feel like that's the thing that's like the most striking about like your paintings, like just like the bold shapes and the contrast, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. It depends on the piece. Sometimes I'll just go outside with a sketchbook or even
Mm,
just my phone, take pictures or do sketches, and take notes on the sketches. And then I'll take the sketches and then sometimes I'll put them on canvases and do studies to kind of
mm,
push the sketch further. And sometimes they don't even become anything. But I really like just a lot of the ideas, they're from either the outside or history books or museums, pretty much anywhere. But when I'm kind of pursuing a piece, I'll do a sketch and then do the canvas piece. If I know that like this is totally what I want to
mm,
do, I'll even do a larger kind of a canvas sketch that involves paints or even tape on it. And then I'll then bring it to the panels of wood or even
mm.
sometimes on metal or plexiglass.
Oh, cool.
And there's a whole kind of process to
Mm,
it. Not always do I sketch, but sometimes I just kind of jump into the piece and do it
mm.
too. Mhm.
That's cool. Um,
Yeah.
that's cool that there are like so many ideas out there that like not all of them come to fruition, that there are like, I don't know, so many sketches and
Yeah, I mean, even from high school, I have like binders full of
mm,
sketches that maybe in the future can be visited
yeah.
too, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. You could like go back to them maybe. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. And some of them I totally have. Yep. It's a bit of both. Sometimes when I'm working from the pictures, they'll either be like 24 by 24 squares, and I'll usually take like if I use my phone for a picture, I'll crop it or even bring it into like Procreate and adjust the image to kind of add other elements and kind of change up the composition in that way.
Mm,
But it depends. Some of the landscape pieces, they'll be more horizontal or even doing some that are kind of vertical to
mm,
have more air elements in the piece too. But it really depends on the piece. A lot of them are like 24 by 24 squares or 48 by 48-inch squares as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, it really depends on the piece, if
mm.
that kind of answers the question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is it like photo bashing, like when you go to Procreate and like put together the reference images? Do you like kind of stitch them together?
They're collages, yeah. And some of
Okay.
the images, like some of the pieces I've even used pet dogs that I've had in the past and have done
Oh,
cutouts and then put them in the image as well.
oh
So
wow,
there's a lot
cool.
of blending going on. So
Mm,
usually I don't really just go by the photograph. I'll either take out elements from the photograph or add it in, or even while I'm on site, like when I was in Italy, I would do sketches at the beach and I would add in elements that weren't at the beach and I would just kind of draw them in or paint them in more of a final product too.
cool. I didn't know you went to Italy. Was that for like a
Yeah,
residency or something?
it was it was junior year that I went and I
Mm.
lived in Florence for a little bit. It was the Lorenzo de Medici program and I studied Renaissance art and sculpture
Oh,
and
cool.
it was really cool. Mhm. But yeah, it's
Awesome.
just a college program that I did.
Mm.
experiment as
Mhm.
much as you can with everything that you can. Everywhere around you are materials, and you could use anything that you could ever dream of to create a piece of art. So that's kind of my advice. And really do what feels right, you know?
Mhm.
If it doesn't feel good, then maybe step aside and try something else and come back to it. Or if it feels right, kind of push whatever feels right, whether it be materials or composition, and kind of go in that direction. But a lot of the pieces I do are really based on feeling. So I would really encourage artists to kind of go based on what feels right, and even also go outside of your boundaries and explore. I think that's the best advice. And find art mentors too, people that are in the art field as their careers, and ask advice of them as well. And yeah, but have fun
Mhm.
too. Like doing art is just it's it's so much fun. I love it.